Hello and welcome to the weekly Kashmir University Video Digest Quest. First, a look at the highlights. Interview with Dean Academic Affairs. Inter-College Youth Sports Festival kickstarts. And second JK Medical Science Congress holds seminar on trauma management. Now the details with your host Umar Malik. Professor Musaddiq Amin Sahaf has been appointed as the new Dean of Academic Affairs. Before taking over as Dean of Academic Affairs, Professor Sahaf was a registrar of the university. The Quest team held an interview with him, during which Professor Sahaf said that he wants to make good use of the office for the benefit of the university and the students.
Let me take this opportunity to thank university in general and Vice Chancellor of the university, in particular Professor Khurshid Iqbal Andrabi, for providing me this opportunity to act as the academic advisor to the University of Kashmir as Dean Academics. I personally feel that there is no definite role that is given to the Dean Academics. This role changes with the changing circumstances, changing requirements of the industry. And therefore, right now, the priorities which may be fixed may not be true after some time. But right now, we have certain challenges that we need to address.
He said that his priority is to improve upon the choice-based credit system and to bring the academic calendar back on track.
First of all, there are some challenges created by the introduction of choice-based curriculum, and my priority would be to address those issues and problems which are associated with choice-based curriculum. And at the same time, because of the unrest last year and the floods in 2014, we realized that academic calendar is not being strictly followed because of these two. And my first top priority would be to bring that calendar in tune with the academic requirements of the university.
Professor Sahaf said that university brought in the choice-based credit system to keep up with the changing educational scenario all over the world.
Every new program has operational problems. So when we introduced choice-based, there were inherent operational problems with the program. And if we would not have started, people would have definitely raised a question that if other universities are shifting to choice-based, why we are not shifting? So we also took a lead in introducing this particular program. There will be operational problems, but those operational problems will be addressed over the passage of time. And we are working on those problems, and hopefully by the next academic year, we will bring necessary changes in the program and we will make it more functional and effective.
Asked about the introduction of new courses in philosophy and anthropology, Professor Sahaf said that the required human resources and the infrastructure is being developed and the university will be able to launch the courses in 2018.
The question is, programs need to be introduced only once the infrastructure and human resources are available. University Council has given us go-ahead as far as the introduction of these programs. Now, there are what we call the period for preparation that need to be in place and that need to be used for the purpose. I think currently it may not be possible from the current academic session. We will introduce these two programs which you are referring. Hopefully, if things will move the way we expect them to move, by next academic session, that is 2018, we should be able to introduce these two programs.
Professor Sahaf also said that increasing number of universities in the valley does not increase competition, but it is the quality of education that matters.
As long as there are takers for the program, the institution will compete, and it is very much relevant. We have not seen, as such, the introduction of these universities have created any kind of a problem for the brand University of Kashmir. That does not mean they are not effective competitors, but it takes some time for the institution to create that brand and compete with the leaders. Right now, University of Kashmir is a leader in this part of the world. And I'm sure as the new universities will take more and more share of the market, University of Kashmir also will realize that there are tough competitors in the market And we are conscious of that fact. And that's why focus has been shifted from producing graduates and postgraduates to knowledge workers. And that is also demand of knowledge society. And how it will be done, we have a complete blueprint with us. We have discussed it at the higher level as well. And we are trying to give the practical shape to that blueprint. If we are able to execute the measures that are part of that blueprint, I'm sure that our competitors will find it very difficult to compete with us, and we will be able to sustain and retain the leadership over a longer period of time.
Asked about the low percentage criteria required for sitting in the university entrance examination, Professor Sahab said that even in most competitive exams, one sees such a criterion.
This is immaterial whether we keep 45% or 50%. It is just a qualifying percentage that a person can be eligible to be the applicant in the program. But selection, by and large, you will find it is not less than 70%, less than 60% in different courses. So you can't judge the quality of the students who join us on the basis of this qualifying percentage. What is important is those who are admitted, what has been their percentage and what has been their academic record.
On the supplementary shift in the university that was introduced last year, Professor Sahab said that from the current academic session, only those departments that have required manpower and infrastructure would have the second shift.
If the deans and the head of departments realize and think that they can introduce supplementary shift keeping in view the infrastructure facilities available with the department and human resources available, in that case they can decide this time there will not be any kind of a pressure to the deans, to the head of the departments to have the supplementary shift in those departments which are not in terms of infrastructure and the human resource.
Professor Sahaf assured students that he and his office is always there to help them in case they face any problem.
Two types of problems are there: administrative problem and academic problem. Students are most welcome to communicate to us the academic problems, but as far as administrative problem is concerned, the administration, the registrar is responsible for addressing the administrative problem. But as far as the academic problem is concerned, they can either communicate directly to the dean or head, and then the head and dean will communicate it to me, or they can directly come to my office, but after 2, not before 2.
The Quest team also asked Professor Sahaf about the changes he would like to bring in as the new Dean Academic Affairs, to which he said,
I will try to bring a new dimension to the program, because all along our programs have been knowledge expert driven. What we see that the practical orientation of the programs, it's not the practice driven. We will try to bring the practical ingredient to the program and make it a combination of the practice driven as well as the knowledge driven. And once that will happen, we are sure that the graduates and postgraduates will not be only able to have knowledge of the subject, but at the same time how it is used. Therefore, they will be easily adjusted and appointed against any kind of a position for which they are trained in.
A week-long inter-university youth sports festival commenced in the university. The festival is being organized by the Varsity's Directorate of Physical Education and Sports. At the inaugural function, Professor Nisar Ahmed, Director, Directorate of Physical Education and Sports, expressed hope that the registrar would help in expanding the directorate.
What we require actually here is a more and larger participation from all colleges. I think today is a very good participation. I have seen it the first time, sir. It is appreciable participation. We are looking for a support from various units of the university for conducting this in a smooth manner. You are being a part of our directorate. You know, you have worked as a chairman of the sports board committee of Kashmir University. You being here on the chair, sir, we request the authorities to help us to support, resolve certain issues that we face, you know, pertaining to activities, other things, for betterment of this overall development of the institution.
Registrar Professor Khurshid Ahmed Butt assured the Directorate that he would extend all possible help in developing its infrastructure.
The condition requires improvements, it requires attention of the administration, and I assure Director of Physical Education that I will give due attention to the sports and to the physical education. And I'll be working, very tirelessly for having the most modern infrastructure available here in the university. We have a plan to have an infrastructure for indoor games also. Because I see that the university without a swimming pool, the university without an indoor stadium where a badminton and other games can be played. We require to create that infrastructure. I hope next year, that's my promise to you if Allah wishes. And I hope that Allah will wish that from the next year we will start constructing the indoor stadium here.
Coach at the Directorate of Physical Education and Sports, Mr. Sheikh Adil, conducted proceedings of the function. After that, the week-long Inter-University Youth Sports Festival commenced with participants doing a flag march.
I declare the Inter-College Annual Athletic Meet 2017 open.
As part of the 4-day second JK Medical Science Congress 2017, a seminar on trauma management was held in collaboration with Department of Students Welfare. Assistant Professor at the Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Dr. Muhammad Isaaq Gir, presented the welcome address.
What is trauma? What is emergency? What do you mean by triage? What do you mean by golden hour? How critically ill and injured patients with life-threatening conditions are to be handled and managed? Then we need to discuss how such patients should be evaluated, resuscitated and stabilized, how to strengthen pre-hospital care, including evacuation method of critically ill patients, following golden hour concept. Is there the need for our ambulances to be fully equipped with mobile intensive care units and advanced life support system? And we need to have basic know-how about management of injuries in women, children, elderly, and during humanitarian crisis or during various natural calamities.
Director SCIMS Dr. A.G. Ahenga said that the best way to aware people about the trauma is to sensitize the university students.
I believe university is fountainhead of the education. And then the next line is that of the colleges, the students, and all other avenues of higher education. If we are able to convey the message to the people in these institutions, I think we'll be covering more than 99% of the population. With regard to the awareness, with regard to the actions taken on the scene or the spot, be it a stroke, a myocardial infarction, an accident, or a disaster. If we are able to address the basic problems that a person or an individual faces when he or she is afflicted with such a problem, and the standby person is in a position to resuscitate or do something to save the life, you'll be doing a wonderful job. You'll be giving the life a chance again.
Professor of Endocrinology at SCIMS Sohra and convener of JK Medical Science Congress, Dr. Mohammad Ashraf Ganai, said that in developing countries, communicable diseases are still persisting, which is worrisome.
You must be knowing developing countries and India are basically still harboring significant load of communicable diseases. Communicable disease means infection which starts with tuberculosis and then your other diarrheal illnesses, influenza and other things. So Western countries have overcome these communicable conditions. We have this communicable condition is still there, but now because of our rapid and fast change in lifestyle, we have put our other leg into non-communicable disorders. So we are in a double whammy. We have double burden of disease in these developing countries. And the pattern of this disease is absolutely different. It is very dangerous. And these are achieving epidemic proportions, whether it is diabetes, it is hypertension, or it is obesity, fatty liver, metabolic syndrome, and in women, polycystic ovary disease. So with that concept, this society was conceived.
Dean Students Welfare Professor G.N. Khaki said that education promotes awareness among masses in dealing with emergencies.
To promote awareness in case of emergency, I believe that the role of education can never be underestimated. So, as an educated student, as an educated personality and an individual, we have to make a distinction between a person who does not know and those who know. That's what Quran speaks all about. As a student of Islam studies, I believe. You have to make a distinction between the two, those who know and those who do not know. If somebody knows, he has to come to the rescue of those who are in need. What Quran speaks about. Kuntum khayru ummatin ukhrijat lin-nas. You are the best community. What does that mean? You have been created for others, not for your own self. The moment you are created for others means that you have to come to the rescue of the people who are in need at any point of time, whatever the circumstances. So that way, the theme of the conference is more conducive to the requirements of 21st century youth of our state and of our university. I am sure whatever the discussions and the deliberations will go on during this period of time, especially during this day, I am sure that will be all beneficial to our students and the scholars.
Chief of Emergency Medical Science at SKIMS, Dr. Shaukat Mufti, said that normally people do not know how to deal with a trauma patient and that the experts will teach the students how to act in such a situation.
Or you look that he was all right, now he is looking very pale. Now all these are emergencies and it's you only who will be available there for those 10 minutes or so. Those are known as platinum 10 minutes. And we will be in our lectures making you aware by simple ways that how you can help this person and be of some help to him and will not harm him. We will tell you that how you will not be just a standby person, that you will have a real role in doing a good service to him and not harm him. That's possibly why we are here.
Chairman State Human Rights Commission, retired Justice Bilal Ahmed Nazki, said that there should be a responsive system that takes care of trauma.
I want that anybody who lies on a road as a result of an accident, there should be a system which takes care of him, rather than wait for Dr. Ahangar to come. How can that system be evolved, which has been evolved throughout the world, can be done by wise people and experts like you by framing a blueprint. Let us have a blueprint how to frame a system which is a responsive system.
With this, we come to the end of today's program. In case you have missed some part of the program, you can log on to emrckashmir.com, where you can watch the whole episode. Send us your suggestions at our email address, quest@emrckashmir.com. Before I take your leave, here are a few words of wisdom. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value.